You walk into the room, barely noticing the person in the corner. They look up at you for a split second, then quickly glance away. It doesn't register at the time, but something subtle just happened. Something small. Something that would have gone unnoticed by anyone but the one who's been secretly, quietly, and patiently watching you from a distance. Not in a creepy way. No, far from that. In a gentle, almost reverent way. Like someone who knows they can't speak their heart just yet, so they let their actions do the whispering. It's strange how we spend so much of our lives looking for love in grand gestures. The flowers, the confessions, the public declarations. But some of the most honest emotions are hidden in the quiet corners of everyday life. The sideways glances, the nervous laughter, the offers to help that seem random, but are always just in time. Love, or even deep-like, doesn't always come with flashing signs and fireworks. Sometimes it tiptoes in, soft and unnoticed, until one day you look back and wonder how you ever missed it. Maybe you brushed someone off because they didn't fit your idea of what interest looks like. Maybe you thought they were just nice, just polite, just there. But if you slow down and look closely, you might start to see the quiet signs. The ones that don't scream, but murmur. The ones that don't demand, but hope. You might be someone's quiet miracle and not even know it. You see, when someone likes you deeply but believes you want you to feel the same, or maybe thinks it's not the right time, they show it in ways that are easy to misread. They don't risk the obvious. Instead, they leave breadcrumbs. And if you follow them, you might uncover something beautiful. Something that's been waiting for you all along. There's the friend who remembers how you take your coffee, even though you only mentioned it once, offhandedly. The colleague who always seems to be around when you re-struggling but disappears before you can thank them. The acquaintance who laughs a little too hard at your jokes and blushes when you catch them staring. These aren't coincidences. They're clues, little offerings of affection, wrapped in subtlety. It's not always easy for people to express their feelings. Some carry scars from past rejections. Others are bound by circumstances, relationships, timing, fear. And so they love quietly. They like with caution. They observe you like a sunrise, never wanting to disturb the moment. They listen more than they speak. They watch more than they touch. But their presence is constant, like gravity. You don't see it, but it's always holding you gently in place. Maybe there's someone in your life like that right now. Someone who always checks in but never pries. Someone who lights up just a little when you walk into the room, but masks it with a smile that quickly fades. Someone who offers you the last piece of cake, even though they really wanted it. Someone who sends you memes that remind them of you, pretending it's just a joke. It's never just a joke. Not when you're the first person they think of when they laugh. Look closer. You'll notice they remember details you've long forgotten. The name of your childhood dog. Your favorite song in high school. The book you said changed your life. They're archiving your words, building a quiet library of your soul. Not because they're obsessed, but because they care. Deeply, silently, steadily. You might find them defending you in conversations you weren't part of. Standing up for you when no one else bothers. Praising your talents when you're too humble to mention them. They want the world to see you the way they do. Brilliant, flawed, and utterly irreplaceable. Sometimes their affection looks like frustration. They get flustered when you talk about someone else. They act distant when they're jealous but don't know how to explain why. They get awkward when you touch them casually like you've triggered something they've worked so hard to hide. Their silence isn't emptiness. It's restraint. Because their feelings are bigger than their confidence. Other times, it's in the way they wait for you. Not physically, but emotionally. They wait for the day you'll notice. The day you'll understand why they always went the extra mile. Why they were always kind even when they were tired. Why they listened to your heartbreaks without ever mentioning their own. They don't say a word because they believe you're worth the wait, even if it hurts. It's easy to overlook this kind of person. They blend in. They don't make scenes. They don't confess under moonlight or write love songs. But they show up, over and over again, in the ways that matter, in the hours when you're low, in the corners where you feel unseen. Their love is like background music, only noticeable when you stop and listen. They might joke around to hide how nervous they are around you. Their humor becomes a shield, their smile a mask. They're not trying to trick you. They're just trying to protect themselves. Because liking someone who doesn't like you back is a kind of slow heartbreak, one that drips instead of bleeds. And still, they stay, because even the chance to be near you feels worth it. They do little things you might dismiss, sending you reminders, offering you a ride, lending you their charger, editing your resume, celebrating your wins with more pride than you show yourself. It's not about the task. It's about being part of your life, even in small ways. It's their way of saying, I care, without the risk of, I love you. And then there's the way they look at you. Not always directly, but when you're not looking, their eyes soften. Their expression shifts. It's not admiration. It's something gentler, deeper, like watching the ocean at dawn. They see you in ways you've never seen yourself, and in their gaze, you are beautiful, even in your worst moments. They'll never make you feel uncomfortable. They'd rather suffer silently than make you feel trapped. That's how much you matter to them. They'll never cross the line. Their affection is tender, respectful, patient, and that's what makes it so rare. You'll know them by their consistency, by the way they keep showing up without needing attention, by the way they give without expecting, by the way they believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. Their love is not a firework. It's a candle, steady, quiet, and unwavering, even in the wind. But perhaps the most telling sign is this. If you ever find yourself feeling strangely safe around someone, inexplicably warm, effortlessly seen, don't dismiss it. That comfort isn't random. It's built, slowly, lovingly, by someone who's been laying down bricks of affection while you weren't looking. Not every story of love begins with lightning. Some begin in silence, in the gentle, steady rhythm of someone choosing you over and over again in 1,000 unnoticed ways. The kind of affection that doesn't beg for attention, but deserves it more than anything. So before you assume you're unloved, unnoticed, or unimportant, look again. That quiet presence in your life, the one who never let you fall too far, who always seemed to understand who made you laugh when you least expected it, might just be someone who's been loving you quietly all along. Maybe they're not waiting for you to love them back. Maybe they're just waiting for you to see it. And when you do see it, when you finally notice the patterns, the pauses, the unsaid words, you'll realize something that changes everything. Real affection doesn't always need to be loud to be true. Sometimes it's the silence that speaks the loudest. And sometimes the person you never thought would like you is the one who always has.